Renovating Lab, CP3, Sports on the Hill podcast, TRU Radio Network. You know what it is. I know you guys have missed us. We've been on the air, off the air, been doing Facebook Lives, still been bringing you some of the best sports knowledge and insights you're going to get anywhere. But we're back live. Stay tuned because the lab is still going through some renovations. As you see, things are a little different in the lab now. I've changed locales. I had to make a couple of moves like I told y'all was going on. I also want to thank the folks that came out yesterday, the Martinis, for the inaugural NFL game day. We had a great kickoff. You know, we had a nice little crowd. Would have enjoyed more. Hopefully, y'all can come out next Sunday for the Redskins-Cowboys game in week 2. Hopefully, have a better result. We'll definitely talk about that in the first hour. You know, that's why we went a little bit early because we got my man DujunneaB from Sports Journey, writer and insider, already on the line. We're going to discuss this ugly loss after I already broke down the post game, and but I definitely want to get DujunneaB's 2 cents on this, and looking forward to this matchup to the Cowboys because we saw what they did to the Giants yesterday. If the Redskins play like they did yesterday, I don't see a different result, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. We'll get into that in a little while. As always, I'd like to thank you, the fans, the listeners, contributors, the folks that share our videos, the folks that check out our videos. I see all y'all checking us out. What's up, Eugene? What's up, Papa Stone? What's going on, Vernon? What's up, Tarzan? I ain't talked to you in a minute. I know you're a Cowboys fan, so I know you're tuning in, going to talk some trash. You're feeling pretty good right now, but that's cool. Y'all had a convincing win against a lesser opponent. I can't be mad at you. But like I was saying, I want to thank all of you for tuning in, for following our page. We're over 1,500 likes now. Continue to share and like, let people know what's going on. Because you got real DC sports about the politics going on. You don't got none of that anonymous source stuff. You don't got none of that, you know, he say, she say, whatever, talking about old stuff that don't even matter. We bring you the freshest, newest, best insights you're going to get anywhere. We're going to talk some Nats a little bit later on. We're even going to talk about those Mystics because with the Nats and the Redskins right now, things are a little gloomy in the DMV, but the Mystics are doing well. They just finished their season. They're number 1 seed in the playoffs. Playoffs start on Wednesday, and we should have Paul, the boxing guy, calling in a little bit later on to talk boxing news since we haven't had a chance to talk boxing in so long. But as I said, we got my man DujunneaB on the line, so we might as well talk about this ugly loss yesterday. Me and him haven't even spoke about this yet, so whatever we talk about, whatever he has to say is unscripted, unrehearsed. We just going to be talking. DujunneaB, how you doing tonight, good sir? I know I'm feeling kind of sick after that loss yesterday. How are you feeling, bro?
Man, I'm doing great. The football is back, and you know, it was an exciting weekend.
Yeah, week one was good, but that Redskin loss, you know, I didn't get a chance to. I didn't even want to watch any more football after we saw the Redskins give up that lead that we all knew wasn't secure. So I can't even really say I enjoyed the rest of the NFL week 1. I watched the games, but I was still blown over the Redskins game. So I didn't even really get to enjoy week 1. That was just ugly.
Oh, man, you know, that's the beauty of being a reporter. It makes it difficult when they go out and do these things. The fan base kind of is ready to go to the nearest bridge and jump. But yeah, man, you know, it was a very interesting game, and I honestly don't see it as bad as everybody else sees it.
Really?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I really don't.
Well, I would love to hear your synopsis of this game because I think we have a different opinion on this. What did you see from the tale of basically 2 halves of the offense, defense, and everything working, clicking, everything looking good, and then the second half, no adjustments. The Eagles made adjustments and were effective at it. And once again, as we always seen, the adjustments, there aren't any. And when Jonathan Allen went out and the Eagles started combination blocking, it's like the Redskins didn't know what else to do after that. And this is kind of the staple of Jay's teams. I mean, that's what I saw. What did you see?
I'm going to start first. Coaching aside, I think Redskins fans should be pleased with what the offense was able to put I think that's what you're gonna see more often than not offensively. I spoke throughout the offseason of the talent of this wide receiver group, McLaurin, Harmon come out, make catches. Your guy that Jay's high on, and Trey Quinn, and who I like, came out, made some plays as well. You saw glimpse of Paul Richardson. It was a plethora of people. The old Wiley veteran, Vernon Davis getting involved as well. I just thought that they handled themselves very well. Now, of course, we all know Case is what he is, and I think people make way too much of it. We know what he is. We're not have to sit here and have a over-the-top conversation about it. He brings an ability to take chances, and he's willing to do that. Aside from that, he's going to make some throws that make you go, like, what was that? Where were you going? And he had a few of those. They didn't get picked off, but he had a few of those. And you don't want those types of things to be happening during a football game. Because more often times than not, those things are turnovers and put your defense in a bad situation. I think too much is made of Jonathan Allen going out of the game. This is a talented front, okay? They're deep, more than just Jonathan Allen. And I don't see it from that standpoint. I'm getting ready to go there, but I thought they played fairly well outside of miscommunications here. And, first off, I'm not mad at Deshaun Jackson beating them the first time. I thought, despite the coverage given, which they had Sean Dion Hamilton dropping back, and I mean dropping way back to the safety position as if he was like a center fielder to help out in the defensive zone area, and Josh Norman had to pick up that, him coming out kind of a streak but a slight post to the end zone. I thought Norman, for what he had to do in the trail position, did an excellent job. It was good coverage, a better throw, and a better catch. But once that happens, you cannot allow that to happen twice.
Yeah.
But that falls on the defense, partly, but it also falls on coaching. And here we go.
Well,
I know why we're.
Well, not to cut you off, but that first one, I'm not mad at that one because that was a beautiful play design by Peterson, the way he had the stack formation, and he made Hamilton make a decision. And he knows he was, young out there, so he made the wrong decision, which pushed Norman in that bad position. I wasn't mad at the first one because we all know that Peterson is a great offensive coordinator. So I'm not mad at the first one. The second one, the pressure, that's the thing that I had the issue with. The pressure wasn't getting there. He was just sitting back there making the sandwich, making cell phone calls, talking to his mama before he threw the ball because the pressure wasn't getting there. And I don't want to get too far ahead, but that blitz that they had, that like everybody came up the A and B gap, what the hell was that in the third quarter when the Eagles were on the momentum, when they decided to blitz and sent everybody up the middle and nobody contained on the outside? I didn't understand that at all, but that first one I wasn't mad at, but the second one, yeah, I didn't want that second one. The first one you can let slide, but go ahead and continue. I just had to speak on that one.
No, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with the coverage. I don't even care if Sean is out there. I don't have a problem with it. But they beat you with a good throw, and a really good catch. It was a great play. You've got to give credit where credit is due on that one. But once that happens the first time, obviously, everybody and their mama knows that he's a threat, regardless. So that you should be doing what you need to do to take him away. And it seems as if this is the history, and this is where Redskins fans are upset. And I get this part of it. What bothers me is I'm tired of talking about the same things over and over again. This has been a 6-year problem for Jay and his staff. It's adjustment, but it's also not sticking with what works and what is working for your offense and what's getting the job done. Manusky will go there first. I'm not going down is a speck of salt in a pepper shaker. I don't care. They have a plethora of talent on that defensive line. No excuses. It all comes down to scheme and what you draw up and what you throw out there and making adjustments. Like you said earlier, Philly made the adjustment. They attacked. They brought out their guys, the old wily veteran there and Darren Sproles, and attacked them. They didn't counter. It's like being in a boxing match and dude makes a counter move and you have no counter punch. You just guard down, taking it on the chin. And they got knocked the hell out. That's not on players. That's on coaching. And I'm sorry, I'm tired of people blaming guys at the position. This starts with one head and one head only. That's Greg Manusky. This has been his MO since he's been here. And this is why Redskins fans are upset. Throw this over to the offensive side of the ball. And look, we talked about it earlier about Kevin O'Connell being the offensive coordinator. But let's be real here. Kevin didn't have a whole lot to do with this game plan because this is the old Jay Gruden way. We get up 17 to 20 points, and the other team maybe has 7. They may have nothing. And then we go away from what's working and start throwing it all over the yard, getting all cutesy and things, and then you want to sit around here and point the finger at the players on the offense saying, oh, well, the defense isn't doing this, it isn't doing that. Look, let's take a look at something here. 5 of 13 on third down efficiency, 38.5%. Putrid. Okay? That's enough said. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they were 8 of 10 on third down in the second half to finish the game 11 of 17. That's 64.7%. Tell me how you're going to win ball games allowing 64.7% conversion rate on third down. Guess what? You're not. Especially when your offense isn't converting on third down. Okay? I'm tired of seeing the same old stuff. You know, it's like a person, he has an imperfection, a flaw with his personality and not changing. And Jay has an imperfection in his coaching. It's been here. This is year 6. And he still hasn't learned. And if I have to hear this guy one more again, get up here and do this coaching crap about we need to run the ball more. Like, I want to hear it. You're not doing it. Like 6 years of this crap. I swear, I'm going to go Stone Cold Steve Austin stutter if he says this one more time. Like, just do it. It's insane to me. So it's not, I'm not going to blame the talent. I'm not going to blame the players. This falls solely on coaching. And it's obvious. Any fans have been saying it all day and since yesterday. You can see it. It's on the tape. First half, they stuck it to them. Second half, they came out doing the exact same numbskull BS and got their butt handed to them in the second half because they refused to adjust. The whole second half. What do you expect? This is what they do. And if it doesn't change, these are the results that you're going to get. But I'm not blaming, I don't think anyone should be down on the talent and the ability of this squad. It's can Jay get out of his way? And you know what? That is a big old fat question mark.
You know, I totally agree. I've been trying to be optimistic about Jay, and hopefully he can change his ways and change his thinking. I've spoken to some of my other insiders. I've been hearing some things that haven't really been the best information because I've been taking the high road. I haven't been trying to get into all the rumor mill stuff. But the situation with AP, and you're saying 2-3 weeks ago that Geist, the ball is going to go through him, the offense is going to go through him, he's your bell cow. Granted, I see today that he has a sprained MCL, which I don't put that past Jay as in a way to try to him smooth over bringing AP back into the mix. I'm not saying that it's not a legitimate injury. All I'm saying is if you're saying he's going to run through the offense, it's 10 carries for 18 yards, 13 total touches. Now, if he was, hurt at half or whatever, why weren't there other running backs up? You said AP didn't play for special teams reasons. And I was just talking to one of my folks. He was like, well, you can always kick the ball out of bounds if your special teams is that bad. Just, you got one of the best punters in the league. Why would you sacrifice Hall of Fame running back and put everything on basically a rookie running back to carry the load week one? He just makes bad decisions. And I can't ride with him no more. Last night in the post game, normally, I don't do it, especially week one, but I had to start calling for his head because week 5, if this team is sitting 1-4, and that's if they beat the Giants, and with him calling the plays, that's not a guarantee. I hope that they pull the trigger and get rid of this man. I don't know who they would get to fill in, if it'll be the OC. I don't know. But like you said, I'm tired of seeing the same thing. I'm tired of seeing no adjustments. I'm tired of seeing other coaches out-coach him on a constant, and then he stand there and blame everybody else. Granted, Doug Peterson is a hell of an offensive coordinator and coach. Don't take nothing away from the Eagles. He is great at what he does. He's the one that got them that championship. But you can't continue to do the same things and expect a different result. That's the definition of insanity. And we all a little crazy, but I'm not insane. And I can't keep on riding with this dude doing the same old stuff week in and week out. I'm hoping we see AP next week and hopefully a better game plan, because if not, we saw what Dallas did yesterday against the Giants. And, yeah, they start out 0-2 with a 2 bad loss in the division. That's not a good look on the season at all.
I have defended him. I can't defend him with this whole running the football thing. I can't. I don't blame Redskins fans. Again, I've said this before. I don't blame them, because what I saw yesterday is the exact same thing we've been seeing for the past 6 years. And you keep coming out and saying, I have to correct that, but you're not correcting it at all. Like, you have a problem. You need to have an intervention. Like, I don't have a problem with the game plan at all. You deviate from the game plan. Like, the game plan is what the game plan is in the first half. You deviate from the game plan, and then it goes to basically 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Run left, run right, screen pass, punt. In the second half, it happens religiously when they get the lead, and I don't understand that. You have to continue to put your foot on the gas. You're on the road against a Super Bowl, a potential Super Bowl candidate, and in a hostile environment, you have to lead, and you have to continue to go with what's been working, and continue to mix it up and keep them off balance. And you went to what you always do, and that's not going to work. And you have to change. If you want to keep your job, you have to change as a coach. And that's just not acceptable. And I think it's wearing a lot of people thin, because there's just no excuse now. And I don't care if you don't have the best quarterback or the greatest quarterback. He did an excellent job yesterday, and I'll take that every day, twice on Sunday, if that's how he's going to perform. And you have the talent around, and that's despite not having your all-pro, Pro Bowler, left tackle, Trent Williams. As far as the AP stuff, look, I said it yesterday, it's a numbers game, and I'm not mad at the numbers game. But and I didn't. That's as far as I took it. I didn't want to get into it. Talked about it on this today's pod of mine. But look, AP's a Hall of Famer, and quite honestly, in the second half, is their prime time to use AP, wear them down, control the clock. You still, they had opportunities. McLaurin was killing guys deep, and would have opened up those opportunities as well. Could have put more points on the board, and really took it to them. It could have changed the game also if they had hit that second deep ball that he just missed them on. That might have changed the game as well. But you can't go that route with the conservativeness, and you need your defense, who is the catalyst, is supposed to be the catalyst of this his team as the offense comes along. They can't play that way. Too much talent on that side of the ball. But AP should be in there. I think it's disrespectful to the Hall of Famer. And I understand the whole thing of the special teams. Look, everybody knows the special teams ain't been great for the Washington Redskins in years. And I understand him focusing on that. But let's be real here. If you don't have a guy that can make a tackle on special teams and can make that tackle on special teams, then what in the hell is he doing on your roster? Because if he can't make a tackle on special teams, and he daggone sure ain't going to make no tackle on defense. So guess what? You shouldn't be here. So if you can't find that guy, then you got serious problems. AP should be in there. AP should have been the backup to Geis. And Geis should have been on the pitch count. He should be on the pitch count. He's coming off ACL. You know, I don't doubt anything that Geis can do. I don't doubt he can carry the load. But look, man, this is a tough, this long season. If you want your best, be at their best when it's easy, and you need it down the stretch. Hey, man, bring this guy in, work him in slowly, and let AP be that guy to help you do that with the likes of Chris Thompson in the passing game. Why get away from that? It's idiocy, and I can't defend it. But like I said, and I posted yesterday, I understand the numbers game. That didn't mean I like it, but it is what it is.
Man,
let's hope now it won't happen next.
Yeah, let's get away from the idiot in the room, because I don't even feel like, you know, going down this road with Jay. We've been down this road. We know this road. Normally, like I say, I don't call for any firings after week one, but his ego is writing checks the talent on this team can't cash. Now, the fact that, you know, I'm hearing that, you know, the rumors about him wanting to cut AP were true, and this is him not making him active as possibly, you know, JB and J. I'm done. I didn't try to be optimistic. I didn't try to think that he would finally learn. But as I said yesterday, and as I said over and over again, and I started this hashtag 2 years ago, both Grudens are overrated. And until both of them are out of the league, we're going to continue to see this same BS over and over again. I'm hoping that they do pull the trigger, and, you know, if this is what it's going to be, go ahead, get them out of there, and, you know, try to salvage the season. Because I'm not saying the season's over, but that right there, when you have Deshaun Jackson, player for the team, telling his team that, hey, don't worry about it, you know, at halftime, we down, 13, but we got this. We're going to win because I know what their locker room is like. I know what Jay is like, and don't even worry about it. And lo and behold, 25 unanswered points in the second half. Team had no answer. Yeah. Which is what always happens with it. He's a deer in the headlights, and then he comes into the post game. I don't even watch the post games anymore, win or lose, because he does the same thing. When he wins, he pokes his chest out like he knew what he was doing, and when he loses, he blames everybody else. Now, I got a couple of folks that was riding on my post game yesterday that was defending Jay, trying to put on the players, and like I said to them, yes, there were some plays left on the field. Yes, there were some points left on the field. But your coaches have to put you in a position to win and succeed. And in this game, they did it for one half. The other half, I think they was sitting out there drinking margaritas and smoking cigars on the sideline, because they damn sure wasn't putting in no football work, because it was utterly ridiculous. The defense couldn't make a play. The offense couldn't get out of his own way. And, Jay is just the same old Jay, you know. Looking, like I said, the best he is an AFL head coach. That's it. He was a decent offensive coordinator in Cincinnati. A decent, because when he goes down 7 to 10 points, it's all pass. In the Arena League, they've run the ball maybe 4 times. That's Jay's mentality, and then he wants to come out talking about we should have ran the ball more. Look at Philly. When they weren't getting anything in the first half, what did they do in the second half? That third quarter, they put up almost 70 yards of rushing on those 2 long drives, because no matter what, even though they weren't getting big yards on it, they knew that they could wear the defense down, because they knew Jay would go pass happy and load. He went 3 and outs, 4 out of 5 drives in the second half. How is that going to help your defense at all? Especially when you lose, a big piece of that. And like I said, Philly, they started combination blocking, which I haven't seen in a while from offensive line. But once Allen was out, and they had to shift Ioannidis, and then they had to bring in Settle later on, they were basically double teaming the DNs and running up the gut, daring a nose tackle to try to do something, and it was nothing he can do. So that's what I was saying about game planning. You know, you can have all the talent in the world, but sometimes just a game plan or strategy can outweigh all of that talent, and that's what I think we saw yesterday. But we can't see that on a constant basis. This team has to adjust and make things happen, and they have to get turnovers. That's the key. Got to get pressure, which forces turnovers, and I didn't see that yesterday, and that was disappointing to me because I felt.
Scheming for that either, though.
Yeah,
I didn't see a lot of scheming for that either. You know, a lot of big third, and that's another issue. You know, it's the same thing as last year. I mean, he's a third and long. I mean, you got guys like Cole Holcomb balling out, making solid tackles in the backfield for losses, and then you get to third down and you're rushing three, and you're playing coverage, and he gets a lot of time. And as we all know, once you get enough time, somebody's going to get open. And yeah, their defender may be there to make the tackle, but he's got the first down. I mean, that's another argument I have. You know, not only Deshaun beat for touchdown, he beat you in the most critical point of the game it was a third and long, and he beat you for a first down, basically, a corner route to the sideline, and Wentz has enough time to make that happen because they're only rushing three. And again, like I said, I don't blame the players for this. There were some mistakes, absolutely. This football team is young, so expect that. The coaches have to put these guys in better position, have to have better and more creative schemes so that they can get pressure, so they can, be disruptive like they were in the first half. I mean, don't act like this can't be done. It was done. It happened. In the first half, it happened. So that comes down to coaching. I cannot blame the players for what happened in the second half. And, again, if you want to blame the players, go back and look at last year's tape. Go back and look at 2017 tape when, especially last year when they were 6-2. Some of these things that were happening comes down to coaching. Yeah, sure. Yeah, a lot of injuries, sure. But things that were happening, these explosive plays, and a lot of these things come down to coaching, scheming, positioning, and it's not good. It's not creative. They're picking it apart and putting these guys in some awkward positions and asking them to do a lot. Especially if you got enough time as a quarterback, someone is going to get open. And, a lot of these schemes require you to get someone there to at least be a force to be a disruptive force to kind of help get that ball out a little sooner. And that wasn't happening. I can't blame the players for this particular loss. But, again, with the frustration, I think there's a lot to take away from this game. And I really believe that despite the loss, the Redskins fans should be happy with what they've seen, with what they saw early. This team is talented, man, and I think they shocked a lot of people yesterday. And for all those people, unlike me, because I pay attention, I know how to scout and know how to pay attention to talent. All those people that said that this wide receiver core wasn't good, they had to eat a little bit of humble pie yesterday. Because they balled out yesterday and showed up for Case Keenum. And the offensive line, deserves a hat tip as well for their efforts against stout Eagles front seven.
Oh, yeah, we definitely gave the offensive line a shout out yesterday. Case, he had a good game, but as I mentioned in my keys to victory, all phases of the team had to contribute to get that victory yesterday because you didn't want to put it on Case's shoulders. He played a good game. He only had in my opinion, a questionable couple of throws that put the team in jeopardy. But for the most part, first year with the team, week one, I think he performed excellently. Besides, like I said, a couple of bad passes. It was a lack of balance. There was 43 passes to 20 rushes. I mean, we go over this on every loss. So I mean, we know what it is. It's just that the dimwit calling their plays and being the head coach doesn't see it that way. And his ego, as I said, is writing checks to talent on this team can't cash. But that's enough dwelling on the past. It's 0-1. We got a huge game, week 2, against Dallas. They put up 35 on Giants with no problem. This team looked like they got Ezekiel in there. He got his extension. Dak out there looking to prove a point that he need to get his money next year. Defense looked like they were balling out against the lowly Giants. What do you see going forward in the week 2? Because you have a better optimistic eye than I do. What do you see?
I'll be the first to tell you, talking about the Cowboys, initially, you can catch my entire thoughts on that on the Breakdown episode 2, Google Podcast or wherever you listen to podcasts. With that said, I felt like the Cowboys were the number 1 team coming into the season of the division. I know what people think of the Eagles, but this team's tried, proven, tested, and been consistent. Only problem is that with this division, it's the constant of, we know how Dallas goes. They win the division, it looks good, and they'll go to the playoffs, and then the next thing you know, the next year, they come out and they skid all over themselves, and, they look way less than what they should in the next year. So history doesn't bode well for them. With that said, I know what they did against the Giants, and I chalk it up to, Dallas fans should be happy when you beat a team you should beat. I mean, you're better than them. It's nothing I didn't expect. You got Amari Cooper. Gallup has shown that he's taken the next step as a wide receiver. Played very well yesterday. The addition of Cobb really helped, and like I've been saying all offseason about them, that addition of Jason Witten not only helps the tight end core, but he knows how to get open. He ain't the fastest guy, and that ain't never been. He knows how to sit down in zone and to present himself as an open target for his quarterback, and he did a good job of that. I thought the defense played fair. They gave up some big plays. And obviously they gave up a lot of big plays to the tight end, but that's pretty much what the Giants have. They have Saquon, who they gave up 120 yards for, and I'm not bashing them for that because it's Saquon Barkley. Very tough guy to defend against. They have, no wide receivers. Evan Ingram showed up, which was great. And they got gutted by him. But they'll take that all day if you only have 2 guys, really being a force that you have to worry about, and the rest you're able to hold to a minimum. So when it comes to this game, I think at home, Washington has an absolute shot. I know how it looks. You know what I mean? Fans get into their emotions, and I'm not discounting that. And as I've said before, there are some warranted reasons to be upset. But to act like there's nothing that can't be done and they can't win this game would be preposterous. At home really helps. I think if Washington can come out the way they did, and hopefully AP is a part of this particular running back core, which I think is a absolute X factor for the Redskins. And I hate using the word X factor, but it is an X factor. His experience, his burst, his physicality can wear down this defense and hold them at bay, like they did with the Eagles' front 7 in the first half. If they can do those things, wide receiver core with McLaurin beating guys deep, look, the Dallas secondary isn't garbage, but they're not elite. They look good, as I've said before, because their front 7 does an excellent job of getting pressure on the quarterback. If Washington do a good job of getting the ball out, having a solid running game, unlike, although they ran the ball a little bit, they weren't extremely effective. And be able to get some deep shots on this team, it's gonna be a long day for the Dallas Cowboys. It's gonna be a close game though, because Zeke, and they've got now 3 weapons that they're throwing the ball to, and that's excluding the tight end. I'm not saying that this defense can't get the job done, but it all falls on what is Greg Minuski going to learn from the big, huge turd he laid on the field at Lincoln Financial as the defensive coordinator. That's the key. I think Washington matches up with them very well, especially early in the season. because you can't. It's week one. Like, how much can you take away from that? You're never as good as you show, and you're never as bad as you show in week one. And with it being the second week, look, if anybody's ball game, and I think Washington as a whole, especially from this locker room, will be motivated to get some redemption on a win that they really had in Philadelphia and let slip away. So I do like their chances. And I believe if you have the pick up that SportsOTHP made me do, I think I did pick them for this particular game. So I like their chances. I don't think it's all doom and gloom, guys. I just, and granted, they did, Cowboys did a good job, but so did the Redskins. And I think they put together 2 halves of football and get a few more. It's really a matter of getting more opportunities in the second half. Because I will agree with Jay on that. Defense didn't get any stops. They had the ball for a long time. Eagles did on 2 of their drives. They were very long drives and left the offense with very little time. So, it does look bad. I'm not making excuses, guys. I'm just saying that is factual. So if they could do that and improve that and get more opportunities in the second half, I think you have a very good shot for winning the ball game. And I believe Dallas is only like a 4.5-point favorite on the road. And I think the Redskins can cover 4.5 points at home.
I certainly hope so, because like I said, I don't have the confidence in Jay. This team could be up 21 points in the third quarter, and with Jay Carter plays, it could all go from sugar to shit that quick. So I have no more confidence. I have no more confidence in this dude. And like I said, I was hoping for a healthy season. They had a couple of minor injuries. Nobody, seemed to be long term. Mostly everybody week to week, the few injuries they had. But I just don't have confidence that, because this team has no identity. This team, he doesn't have a go-to play. When things get rough, like yesterday, when things got rough, the momentum is on the other team. There's no play that he can say, all right, this play always works. Let me put this play in so we can get some of the momentum back and try to build off of it. He doesn't have that, because when he goes down, he starts pulling stuff out of his ass because he has nothing. He has nothing. If the game plan changes from what they scripted those first 15 plays and he isn't up, he has nothing. And when I can sit in here and call the plays before they're played, before they hike the ball, and I used to coach boys and girls as a defensive coordinator, what do you think a paid defensive coordinator is doing out there? And then folks want to put on the players, like, if the defense knows what you're going to do when you come out in 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end, and 1 running back, which is his favorite formation, I don't know why, but he loves that formation, and you're not setting your team up for success. So in order for the players to play, they have to be put in a position to win. And that's what we saw with Peterson do in the second half, and we've never seen that from Jay. I haven't seen that in six. There's been sprinkles of it. There's been a few games that he's won convincingly because he actually stuck to the game plan because he had a comfortable lead and the fans were on his back about changing up. But we can't have this egomaniac running the team because he wants to run a certain way, trying to prove a point. The point is you have a sub-500 record. It's time to win games and not trying to prove points that you are this offensive genius, because you're not. You're just another dude with a name, with a last name that got you a job. Simple as that. But
1-5 in season openers. 1-5 in his 6-year here. Let that sink in, guys. 1-5.
I don't even want to hear no more numbers. The numbers that what caught me off, what stat that got me yesterday was it was the first time a Redskins team had scored on an offensive drive of the first drive of the season since 2004. And that was when Clinton Portis broke the 63-yard. Bruh, 2004. That's 15 years. An opening drive on the touch. That's not even talking. I'm not even going to just pile on Jay for that, but that's 6 years with Jay. But that tells you.
It shocked me. I mean, when they scored, I was like, wow. And hey, don't give him too much credit for that. It goes on Vernon Davis. Vernon Davis was a man on that play. All right? So don't give him too much credit.
Oh, you know I'm not. But I'm like I said, I'm not going to pile on. But it's just, this team has too much talent to continue going through the same cycle. And if we see AP inactive, which I can say with the Geist news coming out, that kind of gives Jay an out with him asking questions about it for him to start AP next week, which I think is kind of convenient with Jay and the way he does things. Like I said, that last name Gruden, y'all know what them Grudens can do, man. So John finessed the championship by screwing over Tony Dungy. So I don't put nothing past them Grudens, but
I'm gonna close with this. I understand that the schedule was tough, but with that outing that they put on in the first half of the Eagles game, folks are watching and folks see that this team is talented. In my humble opinion, Jay has no more excuses. Okay? So I don't ever say nothing about firing nobody, but I'm going to put it to you this way. Come week 5, if week 1 is the continuation through the next 4 weeks, somebody got to pay the piper. And it's going to be off with your head. Because there's no more excuses now. I don't care Case Keenum's the quarterback. There's no more excuses now that Jay Gruden has laid his head on coming into the season. Because week 1, that first half shows this team has an immense amount of talent. It also shows that without proper focus by those of authority, this talent can and will be wasted. And ownership, and as much heat as Bruce Allen has taken, and rightfully so, they will not allow this to be hung on them for the ill and unsuccess or no success of this football team if week 1 continues for the next 4 weeks. And that's all I got to say.
Yeah, I think we pretty much did beat a dead horse with this one. We all feel the same way. Just definitely a winnable game. We're tired of Jay's same BS. All we can do is hope for some type of change from the ownership if we continue to see the same thing. And like I said, I normally never call for nobody's head after week 1, but if we see the same thing week 2, I wouldn't even let that man go to the post-game conference. I'd fire him on the sideline and then let Bruce Allen go to the podium after that because it was just ugly. But we're going to –
super ready boy.
Well, we're going to go ahead and let you go, man. I know you got some stuff and some work to put in, man. Go ahead and let the folks know what you got going on, where they can find you at, DujunneaB.
Yeah, you can find the work at sportsjourney.com, 2L Media Group. You can also find the podcast. It's on every big podcasting, service that you can find. It may take a little while for some others. It's definitely up on Google Podcasts. So I like Google. So if you like Google, go there, subscribe to the show. It is called The Breakdown with DujunneaB Bland, DUJUNNEA Bland. Spell out the entire show, and you will find it on Google Podcasts. And some of the SportsOTHP stuff pops up too when you do that with my net minute. So that's kind of interesting and cool too. So, but subscribe to the show. It is a NFL-centric podcast. You will hear me talk about some Redskins, but mostly NFL topics and other things of the like around the world of sports.
No doubt. Appreciate it, bro. Yeah, we about to expand. We about to get on some of the platforms also. We always use the hashtag. So we have our iTunes channel, but it's not as fancy as we like. So we about to go do some change. Like I told you, just stay tuned. Folks is going to see what's going on. But as always, man, we appreciate you taking the time out. Go ahead and handle your business. We're going to get into some Nationals talk. I see we got Paul, the boxing guy, on the line already. He also talks baseball, so we're going to wrap up some Nats talk also. But DujunneaB, as always, appreciate you taking the time out. I'll holler at you later on, brother, and you have a good night.
You too, man. Always appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, man. I'll let you later on, bro. All right. Well, that was some great Redskins talk. I appreciate everybody tuning in, chiming in. We had Birdman come through. He did the pregame with me yesterday. Cameron, Alicia, appreciate all of y'all. Mark, what's going on? We about to go ahead and head into some Nats talk. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in Paul, the boxing guy, because we got some boxing talk about a little bit later on. But we're going to talk some Nats right now since we ain't really wrap Nats in a minute. Paul, how you doing tonight, good sir?
Girl, man, I totally forgot the text message said 6:30. I said, oh, man, I'm already 30 minutes late. I wasn't in on that skin talk so bad, but I mean, ain't nothing that y'all said that I wasn't going to say. I'm just going to say the general. I don't like Jay Gruden, never liked Jay Gruden. Inexcusable play calling, uncreative. Even before the game, I said, why are you scratching a healthy AP when you got a guy who ain't proven yet and a bunch of other backups who always hurt? You know what, Carl? Maybe they could have held on to that lead a little more if they would have had a runner more like AP who can be downhill but also do a lot of nice sweeps on the outside and gain those extra few yards to kind of run that clock down. But, I'm pretty sure Jay's the smartest man in the room, I guess. So, who are we to talk about Jay, right?
Well, even if AP would have been in there, he only gave Geis the ball 10 times, and he was going to be his bail, Kyle. So he would have gave him the ball maybe 3 times. So who knows? But we got next week Cowboys. We see what it do. We're going to talk some baseball for a little bit and talk about these Nats that had a not so good week, going 2-5 against division opponents. They're 5-5 in the last 10, currently sitting 79-63, second in the NL East. The Braves are currently, after defeating the Nats 3 out of 4 this weekend, which I'll get into those games a little bit later on. They're 9 games ahead of the Nats, sitting 89-55. Let's go ahead and get into this week that was, because I really want to get through it because it wasn't too much pretty about it. First game, they had Mets for 3 and Braves for 4. Luckily, they have a comfortable lead against the Mets. They were sitting about 9 games above them. The first game of the series, the Mets won 7-3. Joe Ross took the loss. That put him at 3-4. He went 3 2/3, giving up 8 hits, 7 earned runs, with 4 strikeouts and 3 walks. The lone bright spot of the game of the offense was as Drupal Cabrera hit a 3-run home run in the bottom of the 8th to avoid the shutout. But other than that, they lost 7-3. Bottom of the 9th, excuse me. The lone win in the series was an 11-10 win. Comeback, dramatic fashion. Guerra won that game, only going 1/3 of an inning, giving up no hits, no runs, no strikeouts, no walks. That put him at 3-1. There was a 7-run 9th inning comeback. I didn't actually get a chance to see it. I watched some of the game, and when they went down, I was there doing another, closing the business deal for the Martinis thing, which we're at now. So I didn't get a chance to watch the rest of the game. But the Nats scored in the bottom of the 9th in walk-off fashion, put up 7 runs in the 9th. Just to give a quick recap, the Nats scored first in the game in the first. They were up 1-0. Then the Mets came back and put up 4 in the 4th to take a 4-1 lead. The Nats added a run in the 6th to make it 4-2. Then the Mets added 6 runs in between the 8th and the 9th to give them a 10-4 lead going into the bottom of the 9th. And then the Nats batted around, started with an RBI double by Trey Turner, then an RBI single by Rendon, then Ryan Zimmerman on his comeback from being on the IL for most of the season, had a 2-run RBI double, and the comeback was on. And then to end it all, walk-off fashion, Kurt Suzuki hit a 3-run home run in the bottom of the 9th to win the game 11-10. And as I said, the lone victory of that series. And the third game of the series, the rubber match, Mets won that game 8-4. Anibal Sanchez took the loss. That puts him at 8-7. He went 5 innings, giving up 8 hits, 7 earned runs with 2 strikeouts and 3 walks. The offense was no match for the Mets this series for some reason. In this game, Trey Turner had an RBI single, Cabrera had an RBI single, and Rendon had a 2-run RBI double. And the Nets lost 2 out of 3 to the Mets. The Mets have been hot, so, I mean, it's not like they were playing as bad as they were before, but that's definitely not a, scenario you want to lose 2 out of 3 of the Mets at home. Did you get a chance to check out any of that series, Paul?
Sadly, I missed out on the Mets series. Even if I don't see the games, I still follow. But I got a question for you before I go into my point. I just want to make sure, because we know things have been changing a lot in baseball. A lot of experiments, a lot of things being discussed. I just want to ask before I go into my point, does the majors still do expanded rosters, or did they get rid of that?
They've already started.
Going into the September.
Yeah, they've started expanding the rosters now. They have, I believe, up until, the end of the month to get the full expanded roster before the playoffs, but they've already started adding players to the extended roster already.
Okay, I see that. Good. I don't want to jump, because we all know the elephant in the room is the Braves, right? Sure, I'm a little disappointed at the Mets series, right? I mean, like you stated, the Mets have been hot, and the Nets, if I'm not mistaken, the Nets, if I'm not mistaken, are still either the top or one of the top 3 teams in all of baseball since roughly May. I mean, them dudes been putting up runs left and right. I feel bad for Sean Doolittle because I'm telling you, most of that season we spoke about it so much that his issue on the line, like a pretty on the line there, especially with games having to fall on him so much. So he had to miss some time. I was happy to see they finally addressed a little bit of the bullpen, started to get a little bit more helpiness throughout the season. Kind of wish they would have did it a little earlier, but I think it's a good time. I'll say that maybe it's the rich get richer, or we're getting spoiled that they've actually now have been playing according to their roster's talent. So it's so disappointed when they lose a series. I can take losing losing maybe 1 out of 3 or whatever, but what happened with the Mets, that's to me the way they've been playing lately, that's inexcusable. You gotta win those games, especially with this month coming up and with what we're getting ready to go into next with the Braves. You cannot have a series like that against the Mets, man.
Totally agree. And let's go ahead and get into this 4-game series versus the Braves, which they lost 3 out of 4. So this is going to be a quick run through. The first game of the series, the Nets lost 4-2. Strasburg took the mound. He took the loss. That put him at 16-6. He went 6 innings, giving up 4 hits, 3 runs, 7 strikeouts for 4 walks. 2 runs in the first inning kind of was the difference in the game. When you got Acuna Jr. and Freddie Freeman in the top 3, you line up. You're 9 out of 10. You're going to get runs, and Freddie Freeman is a hitting dude. I can't stand him because he's just a good hitter, and he's having an MVP caliber season, and I can't even be mad. And lone bright spot was Robles put up a 2-run.
I hate him.
Yeah, I do too, bro. He's a hell of a player, but I hate him because he's on the Braves and he always kills the Nats. But the lone bright spot of the offense was Robles with a 2-run home run in the top of the 9th to avoid the shutout. Game 2 of the series was another loss, 4-3. Patrick Corbin took the mound. That puts him at 11-7. He went 5 innings, giving up 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, with 9 strikeouts and 6 walks. So he had a little control issue in that game. But Ryan Zimmerman hit a 3-run home run in the top of the 8th to give the Nats some life, but they weren't able to answer the tie of the game or to get the lead. Game 3 was a 5-4 loss. Austin Voth took the mound. That puts him at 1-1 with that loss. He only lasted 4 innings. He took 4 innings and gave up 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 6 Ks with 2 walks. Cabrera had a solo home run. Zimmerman had an RBI ground out, which scored a run. And Juan Soto had a 2-run RBI double to account for all the Nats runs. And the game yesterday, to avoid the sweep in Atlanta, Mad Max took the mound. He earned the win. Nats won 9-4. That put Max at 10-5. He went 6 innings, giving up 2 hits, 1 earned run with 9 strikeouts and 2 walks. The Nats jumped out to a 4-1 lead after 3 innings. Mark Eaton hit a 2-run home run in the first. Gomes hit a solo home run in the second and in the 7th. Juan Soto had a solo home run in the third. And Cabrera had 2 RBIs, a solo home run, and RBI double in the 8th, and a solo home run in the 9th. Guerra gave up 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th to account for the other 3 runs the Braves got to make it a 9-4 win for the Nats to avoid the sweep. They're still sitting 9 behind the Braves. Before I get your take, let me go over the upcoming schedule real quick and see what you got to say about this series, because I didn't get a chance to see it all, but I saw the scores and saw some of them, and it wasn't a good look on the Nats. The pitching staff, which has been the strength of the Nats the last month and a half, I'm not saying it was a weakness of this, but the offense definitely fell off as much run as they've been scoring. They were all one-run losses and couldn't muster too much, but they did go up against some quality pitching. And they have started tomorrow. They're at Minnesota, one of the best teams in the American League and in the league period. They have a 3-game series on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. All 3 of those games start at 7:40. After that, they come back home to face Atlanta again to try to redeem some respect after losing 3 out of 4 for a 3-game series. Starting Friday at 7:05 start, Saturday at 4:05 start, and Sunday at 1:38 start. I don't know why 1:38, normally it's 1:35, but I guess they need 3 more minutes to do something else. I don't know. But Paul, this Braves series that was crucial and could have shrunk the lead as low as 2 games, but ballooned to a 9-game lead. What did you take away from this series, and what do you think about the Nats' chances of possibly overtaking the NL East title, or do you think they need to go ahead and settle in for the wild card like I think myself?
Man, it's aggravating because this is the second time in the last 2 series when we had an opportunity with the Braves to take the series, to take both series and actually take the lead. I mean, what was it, about a month ago when they were within 4? I think they lost the series and extended the deficit to about 6. Then they turn around and lose this series. It's just, man, they had so much opportunity to make up ground. So I just feel like barring an epic collapse by the Braves and the Nationals sweeping the Braves from here on out, which is good that we do face them again, they just gonna have to play that playing game. And dude, Carol, I hate the playing game. The benefit of the playing game, though, is that if it wasn't 4 years ago, we wouldn't have it now. But that playing game, I think they're in a good position. I've been beating a dead horse off the pitching, especially the bullpen. This team reminds me of 2012. I said that multiple times where, this is unrelated to what this year is all about, but I do remember distinctly how I would get aggravated with the bullpen towards the end of the season, and in the postseason, how sometimes they would have inexplicable collapses late, even though that was a strength. But I guess what I'm getting at while I'm bringing up 2012 is the way the offense is performing reminds me of 2012. In 2012, under Matt Williams, was it Matt Williams or Davey Johnson?
Yeah, that was Davey
Johnson. It seemed like it was home run or bust. And one thing I loved about Matt Williams is I loved small ball. I love the fact that he would lay down some fun. I love that he would do squeeze plays. I love that he would rely on steals. And that's kind of, Martinez is kind of from that same school of thought. It just always aggravated me when the team, it's a great thing when they can score a lot of runs. But this team also is shown to be capable of putting the ball in play. And you don't got to always get 9, 10, 11, 12, runs. And I think that kind of goes with some of the youth on this team. I think with guys like Robles and Soto. And I love those guys. They're great. But, with a guy like Jason Worth being gone, if you look back, when Jason Worth was here, these dudes were so patient at the plate. You would routinely see 7, 8, 9 pitch at bat and walk. So that influence is gone. We got Rendon. I kind of feel like, going back to what I said a minute ago about the pitching, I wanted them to get tight. I like Joe Ross, but Joe Ross I knew was going to be, he's going to have to work himself back. And I'm actually not dissatisfied with Ross, because he had a good stretch there when he was actually pitching some good shutout innings. And of course, he's going to have some ups and downs, seeing as that he gets back in the swing of things. But I think having a lefty like Keuchel, if they would have brought him in here, as part of that starting rotation, could have helped a lot. Naturally, we know who ended up with him, but I feel like they could have signed him for 1 year, and then, that way they could have theoretically had money to do a mega deal with Rendon, which, let's hope happens. We really need that guy, but I think they just got to settle into the playing game. The good thing is, Carol, is that, sure, we have a tough schedule, theoretically, But I love when people say, "Oh, they got a hard schedule coming up in September." So I'm like, "Well, what the hell do you think the Nationals are? You think the Nationals are some slouches?" I mean, if you look at these dudes' records since the All-Star break, I think I saw a stat that said either 1 or 0 pitchers from that bullpen that started the season are on this roster now. So, great thing is the teams that they got coming up are teams that they're ahead of, and they got the Cards coming up, I believe. I think they got the Phillies coming up again. They've got the Braves coming up again. I think they have the Dodgers coming up again. Those are some tough series, but at the same time, those are some good teams. And if they do win the play-in game, if they, hypothetically, if they get there, I want nothing more than for them to get the play-in game, win the first round, and be able to see the Braves in the NLCS. That would make my year if the Nationals got it together, somehow got the play-in game and won it, and ended up in the NLCS against the Braves and took those bozos out. Because, man, Carl, I cannot stand the Braves living here in Charlotte. I've always hated the Braves ever since I was a kid. God damn, I hate the Braves. And I hate Freddie Freeman because he's so good. Just like I used to hate Jordan so much because I love Magic and Jordan was just so good. It's just like, oh. So, yeah, Carl, you can't have performances like that. But I will say this, Carl, the Braves pitching staff, I mean, what their fans expect in terms of their starting rotation and their outing is similar to what we expect from our top guys. And we have some, we may not be 5 deep like we used to be when we had, I used to love it when we had guys like Doug Fister and those dudes. We can just go 4, or a 4th pitcher can pitch a shutout. With the Braves, man, they got a good staff. The Nats just got to overcome. They can't let the inexperience of the youth get to them. They can't panic. They're still in great position, man. You're not going to take the division. That's okay. This is their first time being in a division race. That's okay. Win that play-in game, though. You got to win that. Hopefully, Mad Max will be fully ready to go by that time, and he'll be our pitcher if we get that play-in game. But, yeah, Carl, I think they can kiss the division goodbye, and that's fine. That's fine. The goal is to get to the postseason, no matter how you get there.
Exactly. Braves mature quicker than everybody thought. So it is what it is. Nats still playing some good ball. It's the man roster. They got the Braves coming up next week for 3. Braves been playing some good ball. I don't see them going on a long loser streak or whatever. So they just need to solidify their spot as a wild card, keep home field managing that, win that, and then get to the NLDS and then go from there. But we're going to go ahead and wrap up Nats talk here. I'm going to go ahead and get into some quick Mystics, and then we can get into boxing news. I know you got a lot that you need to cover since we haven't covered boxing in a while. But as I said, we've talked about 2 DC teams that aren't doing the best right now. Now we can switch to a DC team that's doing great, the Washington Mystics. They finished out their season at 26-8, first in the East, clinched the number 1 spot in the playoffs. They had 3 games last week, which they all won. They were on a 6th game. After winning those 3, that put them on a 6-game winning streak to end the season. Going back to recap the week that was, they played the New York Liberty on the 3rd. The Mystics defeated them 93-77 convincingly. Lena Deladon had 30 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 block. Ariel Atkins added 23.7 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and Natasha Cloud added 12 points, 2 rebounds, and 9 assists for Chrissy Tolliver, who's been out with an injury. I'm thinking she'll be back for the playoffs. The team shot 49% from the field. They shot 48% from 3-point range, 12 of 25. And they out-rebounded New York 42-23 and out-rebounded them on offensive boards 12-5. And they had 24 assists on 35 shots in that game. Then after that, they came home to face Dallas, who they defeated 86-73. Emma Musselman, I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, but I'm going to go with it. She had 25 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Lena Deladon had 16 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. And LaToya Sanders had 16 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 block. Team shot 48% from the field, 26% from 3-point range, only 6 for 23. But they won the rebound advantage 30-34 and had 22 assists on 39 shots, on 33 shots made, which is always a good thing. And the last game of the week, which was yesterday, and last game of the season, was versus Chicago, who he defeated 100-86. Lenny Deladon had 25 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 blocks. Tiana Hawkins off the bench added 24 points, 9 rebounds, and a steal. And Emma Musselman had 11 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists. The team shot 46% from the field, shot 38% from three-point range, 11-29. They out-rebounded Chicago 42-29 and had 14-4 advantage on the offensive boards. And they had 28 assists on 38 shots. As I said, that was the last game of the regular season. Playoffs start on Wednesday with the one first-round single elimination, where you have Phoenix facing off against Chicago at 8 on Wednesday. And then you have Minnesota versus Seattle at 10. Those teams will advance to the second round and then face the opponent, and then they will face the winner of that game. The Mystics are waiting to face them in the third round, and whoever wins that goes to the finals on each conference, and then hopefully the Mystics will be rebounded and go into the finals for the second year in a row, and possibly this year winning it. From what I heard from one of my, NBA insiders, WNBA insiders, that there are a lot of injuries to these playoff teams of key players that, are going to be gone for the rest of the season. So it's pretty much, I'm not going to say a cakewalk, but it's pretty much a good chance that if the Mystics continue playing good ball like they have been on this current 6-game winning streak, they should be able to possibly bring their first championship home to D.C. I'm not trying to jinx them. I'm not trying to say it's going to happen, but kind of like the writing is on the wall. If this team continues playing good ball and get their point guard back, Chrissy Tolliver, she's been out for a couple of games with a little injury. Hopefully she'll be back for the playoffs, and maybe we can be celebrating a Mystics championship, pretty soon with the playoffs starting right now. But stay tuned. We will be covering the playoffs. I will be trying to get down to the entertainment and sports complex to shoot footage for the playoffs, especially since we didn't get a lot of chance to get down initially on the regular season. So stay tuned. We got WNBA coverage on here. A lot of other folks don't cover it, but Sports on the Hill podcast on TRU Radio Network, we're going to bring it to you fresh, raw, and with all the knowledge and insight you get anywhere else. And to get ready to end the show, I say let's go to Paul the Boxing Guy for the latest news in boxing, since we haven't talked boxing in a minute.
Hey, man, it's been starting to pick up a little bit again. It hasn't been a whole lot going on, but it's a few fights that I'm excited about. One is actually a surprise fight that I'm most excited about, and most people probably never heard of. It's Heather Hardy versus Amanda Serrano. These two women are good friends for a long time. They're going head-to-head. They both champs. They're going head-to-head, I believe, this weekend. And I'm telling you, that's going to be a great fight. Serrano is such a skilled boxer, man. Sometimes she stands in there a little bit to show that she can deliver some blows and take punishment, but she's very agile, very nimble, very skilled. Heather Hardy's a little more stationary, but she is a slugger. She's also an MMA fighter too. So, they both actually are. So they're meeting in a boxing match coming up, and I'm looking forward to that. Recently we had my guy, one of my British guys. I like Anthony Yard. He's a light heavyweight. He took on Sergey Kovalev, which was amazing to me because Yard is fairly young, and this was his first big test. He actually lost by knockout, a late knockout, which was more due to fatigue than anything else. Yard is he's sort of built like Anthony Joshua. He's very muscular. But he gave Kovalev everything he had. I mean, he got in the knock Kovalev out for the light heavyweight title. So, Anthony Yard, man, he did his thing. He's a warrior. He doesn't quit. He gave it his all against a crazy experience, world-class fighter like Kovalev. So now, what's intriguing next, though, is here's the funny part, Carol. Here's the funny part. Canelo Alvarez. This man, I think, is 5'6". This man, I think, started fighting at 140. This man has just secured a deal to fight Sergey Kovalev for the light heavyweight championship. Imagine that, Carol. Imagine this is similar to when Roy Jones was like a welterweight or middleweight and then moved up to heavyweight, beat John Ruiz and took the title. Except Roy Jones is a lot taller. Canelo is like 5'6". Canelo Alvarez is going to take on the light heavyweight champion of the world. Maybe in a few weeks, I think in a couple months, because Canelo doesn't take a lot of time off. But that's going to be something to see. Kovalev is a little older, but I mean, it's Sergey Kovalev, man. So Canelo, once again, showing he's not afraid of anyone. This man won titles at 168, 160, 154, 147. I don't know if he won at 147. Canelo, I think Floyd fooled him at 147, unless they fought in a catchweight. But yeah, that's the big boxing news that just broke. I saw yesterday. We got Tyson Fury fighting, I think, this Saturday. He's fighting against the bum. I don't even know the guy's name. That tells you how much and I hate to call him a bum. I hate to say that because, you put your life on the line when you fight, but let's be real here. Tyson Fury comes out of retirement, fights Deontay Wilder for the WBC belt. I thought he won the fight, but, people were getting angry saying, oh, he was robbed. I'm going to tell you this. Sure, he outboxed Wilder easily, but you got knocked down twice. I'm not saying 2 knockdown people are long, but at the same time, you come in for the champion. You got to take that man's belt, and you got knocked down twice. So, whatever. So they were supposed to have their rematch. Fury ended up signing with Top Rank. He didn't want the rematch. Apparently, he feels he doesn't need it. So Wilder got kind of pissed. I believe Wilder's giving Ortiz a rematch, kind of left Wilder in a bad position. And I feel for Wilder, because, I can't trash him anymore like I used to. I don't trash his quality of opposition because he's fighting everyone. No, I'm sorry. Wilder just beat Brazil. So I think he's fighting Ortiz next. Brazil is number 1 contender. Dillian White still number 1 contender. He had an issue with PED testing positive, but he ended up getting cleared. So what Matchroom is trying to do is get Dillian White to be that mandatory over Ortiz, because Dillian White's been a mandatory for like 2 years. And they're trying to make it so if he doesn't fight Dillian White next, that they would actually strip Deontay Wilder of that WBC title, which I think would be warranted if he ends up not fighting him, because Dillian White is available. So we'll see what goes on there. Fury wants to fight Wilder in February, but if that happens, once again, Wilder probably would end up being stripped of that WBC title. And, I just don't see what's the benefit of Fury fighting a guy like Wilder, again, for no title. Because Fury's not fighting Joshua. Fury's not fighting Ruiz, who has Joshua's belt, who also is getting ready to fight Joshua in Saudi Arabia, and he's in November, December. And I brought up Anthony Yard a while back and compared him to Joshua to being muscular, very talented, but kind of fatigues easily. And I stated I felt that Joshua should have not fought Ruiz when Jarrell Miller tested positive, because Jarrell Miller is about 350 pounds conservatively. And I think Joshua packed on a lot of weight to be able to absorb a lot of those heavy body blows. Mm-hmm. And when he ended up fighting Ruiz instead, I felt that was a mistake, because he wouldn't be as agile, as nimble like he was against Joseph Parker. And that played against him. And I also know, Joshua was going through a couple things in his head. Because, that's kind of a buzzkill, man. Like, you've been training for this guy, your American debut, and then you got to fight someone else. And like I said on the show, Carol, they were listening. I said before the fight, I said, Ruiz is no slouch. Everybody's clowning this man because he's fat. And this man can move. This man can box. This man can take a punch, and he got hot. Case in point. He got dropped by that left hook by Joshua, got back up. However, I do see Joshua being pretty quiet right now outside of a feud with Lennox Lewis. I see a totally different Joshua coming up in his rematch. I think he's going to come in probably lighter than he's ever been. He's already noticeably lighter. He looks like he fought when he looks like he was when he fought Joseph Parker. He looks like he's probably about 220 now. And for him, that's light, because he was pushing the scale to maybe 250 with all that muscle. So he knows that he's going to have to fight a lot more control. I think he fell victim to that Klitschko syndrome again, where he knocked him down and he tried to force a knockout and ended up paying the price this time. I think he's going to destroy Ruiz in this rematch, and I think he's going to be champ again. So that opens up a lot of opportunities for 2020. But I'm just going to be honest, Carl. From what I've seen recently, from Fury fighting Bum, from Joshua losing to Ruiz, he had some soul searching to do, being that he's young and it's his first loss. I really, frankly, just don't see anybody beating Deontay Wilder until Deontay Wilder beats himself. I mean, and that's big coming from me. I take a quote from Deontay Wilder. He said, "You got to be perfect for 12 rounds. I only got to land one punch." and that's true. So I'm going to kind of go by that approach until I see how Joshua looks against Ruiz to see if Joshua has made the proper adjustments. I think he should get a new trainer, maybe John David Jackson or somebody, because he definitely needs to evolve in his skills. And one more, the other big fight, Carl, I've been talking this up, Sean Porter versus Errol Spence. They're coming up, I think, on the 28th, and that's going to be a war, man. Spence fights in close. I'm sorry, Porter fights in close. Spence can fight in the phone booth. Spence can take it. Spence can give it, and that's going to be that's going to be a war. So I promise you, if you see Spence versus Porter on September 28th, I don't know if it's going to be on pay-per-view or not. I'm pretty sure it will be. But if not, it's a PBC fight. So I think that'll be on ABC maybe or Showtime. I'm not sure, but don't miss it. I'm saying 28 Sean Porter. It'll be a great fight. I'm picking Spence. Sean Porter's hard to knock out. Sean Porter's hard to knock down. I think we're going to see an Errol Spence TKO. And it's not mainly because he's going to just wreck Porter so much. I think it's just going to be a combination of blows, sort of like what happened when Spence fought Lamont Peterson. DC's own Lamont Peterson. So, we're starting to pick up, man. Starting to pick up, and I'm sure we'll hear more fights coming up in the near future as well. So, there's some talk about Manny trying to come and maybe have another defense of his title. We'll see, man. So it's a lot of good things out here happening right now. Oh, Lomachenko and Campbell. So Lomachenko did his thing again, won again. Campbell was game, but Lomachenko was Lomachenko. He chopped that tree down, and he ended up winning that bout by unanimous decision. I thought it was a split decision, but I still don't disagree with the fact that Lomachenko did win. But I think Campbell, just like Linares, kind of showed people, how you can kind of handle Lomachenko's unorthodox in-close style. So that was the most recent bout, and I think that's about it for the short term.
All right, sounds good. Had a lot to recap since we had a chance to talk boxing in a minute. So as always, we appreciate your time and your insight of everything. I'm probably going to go ahead and wrap it up now. Let the folks know where they can find you at before we get up out of here.
Yes, indeed. You can find me on Instagram, pugilist_HQ, PUGILIST_HQ. You can also find me on Instagram at P from Charlotte. That's all one word, the letter P from Charlotte. And, it's great to be back on. It's been a good little bit. I know I kind of rambled a little bit about the boxing, but y'all know I love my boxing. I can talk boxing all day.
Hey, man, got to get that knowledge and insight from somewhere, man. I ain't mad at you. Appreciate you taking the time, bruh. And I'll holler at you later on, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, talk to you later, man. Later.
Sir.
All right. Well, as always, we had another great episode. Had a lot of great interaction from the fans on the Facebook Live. Great knowledge and insight from our callers, DujunneaB and Paul. Make sure y'all tune in every Monday night from 7 to 9 for Sports on the Hill podcast on TRU Radio Network. Make sure you come out to Martini's down in Fort Washington, Maryland, 725 Katy Drive, Fort Washington, every Sunday for NFL Game Day. I'll be streaming live for the pregame and postgame every week. Food, drinks, hookah, outside on the patio, chilling. Y'all should come through, check us out. Going forward every week. Got a huge weekend with the Cowboys, Dallas week. Come on out, tailgate with us, have a good time. We open the doors at noon and we close. The last game is over. So come on out, chill with us, hang with us, and spend some time with us and have some good drinks and good food. Check out SportsOTHP.com. Check out my YouTube channel, Carol Porter III, with 3 eyes and a number 3 for all the latest Facebook Live videos and uploads. I'm uploading a video of the billiards that I shot, the bikini billiards I shot the other day. Appreciate y'all checking out the feed. I told you I've been working on a whole lot, so stay tuned for so much more. Sports on the Hill podcast on TRU Radio Network and Martini's. We got so much in store for y'all, so stay tuned. I'm in this Facebook Live feed now. Appreciate all y'all tuning in. I'll be sharing on my YouTube channel later. And in that.